Hey, it's Fear. I just want to let you know the episode of FEARCast you're about to listen to is from season 1, so it's old and the material might not be relevant. The conversation's still good, but the band may or may not be still together. The person making movies might not be doing it anymore. But just in case, I wanted to put it out there so you guys can check it out. And also Google the bands, see if anybody's still around. And if you hear music you like, there you go. Also, check out any of the movies mentioned, because movies are always still around. Well, I guess, unless they pull them away. Anyway, it's an older episode, but a good episode, so I wanted to put it out. Stay tuned, nftfyb.com for everything new. And I hope you come back and enjoy season 2. We're getting some new guests and getting this thing going. So check out the other podcasts, Talk Life Pod, A and Way, and of course, FEARCast. So run along, kiddies. Are you ready? And welcome to FEARCast, everybody. I'm your host, Fear Innes, and tonight I have the amazing pleasure of sitting down with Bill Oberest Jr. How are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. I want to thank you for having me on.
Oh, no, I thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I'm pretty excited. I fell in love with you a couple of films ago, and as soon as we could, I said, we got to talk to this guy. And so I thought maybe we would open it up by maybe some of my audience don't know exactly who you are. Maybe tell you a little bit about yourself and how you got into the shindig of acting.
You know, that's the funny thing about this business is you can make 100 movies and still there are people who don't know who the hell you are. Because it's such a niche world, you know. In the little horror niche, there are people who are like, oh, yeah, I know you. And then outside the niche, they're like, who are you again? I have friends who are actors who work in other genres, like in romantic comedies or exploitation or in Christian film, and they're the same way. In their genres, people are like, oh, yeah, sure, I know you are. And outside, they're like, who? So anyway, I'm an actor, and primarily I kill people. I kill a lot of people. Nice. Because I have a scary face. I didn't start out choosing to kill people. I did theater for 14 years on the East Coast. And then I stumbled into this History Channel docudrama playing General Sherman from the Civil War. So I came out to LA and I figured, well, okay, I'll be like this historical character actor in LA. But I couldn't get arrested. And I started doing horror, which I love and have loved since I was a kid. And as long as there are sort of creepy, malevolent guys, then I can work. So thank God for typecasting. I've done over 100 in the last 8 years. I've done over 140 projects. That is and that's what I was looking at. That's what I was hoping you'd touch upon is when I pulled up your IMDb and I'm seeing there's 181 actor credits starting in like 2007. I'm like, holy shit, this dude is just in everything. That's what you got to do. I mean, that's the business because everything's so segmented now that really your chances of becoming a movie star in the old-fashioned sense, I don't think there'll be any more of those. I agree with Spielberg that large-scale cinematic exhibition is on the way out. It'll only be a thing for the very high-ticketed items. So, what are we actors left with? We're left with working a lot to achieve a little bit of recognition. And that's okay. That's the business. Yeah, that kind of makes some sense. I mean, you kind of see it now, right? Like the big movies, you got a couple of blockbusters a year, but the rest are either independent or low budget or that sort of thing. And I don't know. So how do you feel like that's a good thing? Does that open things up or does that close it down a little bit? Well, it closes down large-scale cinematic exhibition, by which I mean movies being projected 70 feet tall. Right. That was the original idea. The only reason that movies came about was because they were larger than life. Now they're actually smaller than life, because people are watching them on tablets and phones. Right. And so they're even smaller than life size, which the people who created movies could never have imagined. So the challenge is, how do you create content that is interesting to watch, on something the size of your palm? And how do you contend with people whose attention spans now are worse than President Trump's?
Oh,
I mean, they're like, a couple of seconds into the movie. I know that when I watch a YouTube video now, if that load bar is more than 90 seconds, I'm like, oh God, I don't have the time for this. And so when people watch a movie, they're like, okay, it's a monster movie, but I've been watching it a whole minute and I don't see any monster. So they're challenges to contend with, but that's the world we live in.
I never even thought of that in reference to the way that the media, because I still like to go to the movies, but for the most part, the most media that I do consume is on like my iPad mini or whatever sort of device. And I never
Yes.
thought about it that way until you just mentioned it.
So if you're a filmmaker, you want to do a lot of close-ups because they're big. Rogue One doesn't play well on your phone.
Right.
It's just not going to do it. But a movie like Friday the 13th does play well on your phone. So it's good for horror because horror has sort of a universal language, and I work in that genre a lot. But even within horror, a lot of close-ups, a lot of sort of tight shots work better than the big shots on little devices.
That makes a lot of sense. The YouTube generation of where a lot of folks are putting everything on there. I know even we do a few YouTube videos, and anytime that I feel like we're running over 6 minutes, I'm like, nobody's going to watch this.
No, nobody's going to watch it. You are so right. Actor reels are that way. Like when I got into the business, and that was only 8 years ago that I started doing film, your reel, casting directors wanted it to be substantial, 4 or 5 minutes. Now, no way. Like under 3 minutes, 2 is good. 90 seconds is perfect because nobody has the time anymore. We were all completely attention deprived. I don't think it's a good thing for culture, but in entertainment, you got to work with it.
Yeah.
The good thing for a guy like me is my best moments on film are short and nonverbal. Like I've got a face that the camera sees as menacing. So I don't have to do much on camera in order to establish my character. So, it's good for me because I don't need an entire movie for people to get what I do. The thing that we won the Emmy for was Take This Lollipop, that Facebook app that went viral. And that was only 90 seconds. It was 90 seconds of me on screen hacking into your Facebook profile with no words.
That's
so,
pretty
yeah,
awesome.
so, I'm okay with I'm okay with the shorter form work. Yeah.
Well, not even so. When I was taking a look, and I don't know how up to date IMDb is, but it shows that you have like 15 movies in post production, a TV show in post production, 12 movies under announced.
Yep.
Like, when do you sleep, man?
I sleep at night. I'm pretty traditional, unless I'm working. Oh God, I hate night shoots. Sometimes you got to do them, but I can't stand it. I hate red carpets too because it's at night. I'm a daytime guy, so like 9:30, I'm ready to get my hot chocolate and just get into bed.
Oh, that's awesome.
I sleep, but first thing in the morning, like crack of dawn, I'm up, baby, and I want to get on. I want to get on the computer because I'm self-employed. I'm a small businessman, and my business is my product, which is called Oberest Jr. So I have to spend every day that I'm not working on a specific project, I'm looking for work and generating work. And I do stage too, so that's a whole other realm.
That's pretty amazing. I just thought that was impressive just to see how much he got on the go. And I was like, I don't even think he's going to have time to sit down and talk with me because it sounds like this guy is just constantly working. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you are your product, that's kind of the game you got to play.
Yeah, it's you're a small businessman, and so the people who aren't successful in this business now, especially now that the reality is you're not going to be discovered and you're not going to be a movie star. The people who are not successful are the people who don't treat it like a business. But you have to think about that product every day. I don't mean that the product isn't real. Bill Oberest Jr. is a real guy, but I'm Billy, and I sell him. And I'm proud of selling him. It's a product with integrity, and I do a good job on set. I work hard for my directors. But still, you have to understand what you're selling and not believe your own bullshit.
I've actually heard that a couple of times from a couple of different folks that I've interviewed. Is one of the number one things is don't drink your own Kool-Aid. You gotta.
Oh my God. Oh, dude, no, don't drink your own Kool-Aid. I know people who drink their Kool-Aid and everybody just rolls their eyes at them. Nobody has time for it. No. The main way to get jobs in the movies, once you start getting jobs in the movies, the best way to keep getting jobs is don't be a bitch.
Yeah.
And the actors ask me this, like, what training do I need? And I'm like, get on set, start making movies, ask questions, and don't be a bitch. Because the non-bitchiness, that's a huge deal. Because producers, especially if it's an indie, you might have somebody that mortgaged their house or sold their car to help make this movie. So they don't want anybody on set who's going to be, dramatic or have some special needs or problems. Show up, do your job.
I mean, that's it, right? Like, these guys are putting everything they have on the line. The last thing they need is some prima donna complaining about who knows what. There's too many brown M&Ms, etc.
That's right. And then your job doesn't end when the movie's over. Your job is to do exactly what I'm doing now, is to talk about the movies that you've been in and to help let people know that they exist. Because these movies don't have, for a blockbuster, and most people I don't think realize this. If you make a movie that costs $200 million, you need to spend at least half that much again in advertising. And sometimes they'll just double it. They'll spend 200 and spend 200 million more to advertise it. So if you're making a movie that you scrape together everything you got to make a movie that costs $250,000, you really need another 125 to promote it. But nobody has that in the indie world. So They get these movies finished, and then there's no money to promote them. So thank you for doing what you do and letting people know about them.
No, I really appreciate that. And we've been actually very lucky since we started talking with some folks and working with different companies like October Coast and all those guys who are actually sending out these actually amazing. I've come across some of my favorite movies in the last 5 years just through screeners and talking to different people. So, I mean, it's kind of a different world, but I very much like being a part of it.
It's nice of you to say that, because there are some people who will judge an independent movie against a $100 million movie, and it's never going to stand up. Never. Oh, well, it wasn't as good as, fill in the blank, whatever your big blockbuster is. Well, no, it's not, dude, it's not the Avengers.
Right.
You're not going to see the same effect. But what you can get in an independent film is a story. And sometimes they will concentrate more on the characters.
For sure. Actually, that's a really good segue going into Hunting Grounds. It's a awesome little monster movie where we get to meet up with one of our favorite cryptids, Bigfoot. Do
you think that there is such a thing as Sasquatch? Europe and Canada, that's also Sasquatch country.
Absolutely. And that was something that I was going to ask you. You know what? I don't know.
Well, I asked you first.
I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it, Bill. I feel like maybe it's the tough sell is we've seen almost everything, but I kind of enjoy the whole. Maybe there's some stuff we haven't seen yet. And maybe a Bigfoot, a big hairy ape man. Sure. I mean, working this far up north, I see a lot of trees. There could be some Bigfoot out there.
I'm with you. Since I was a kid, I've been a fan of anything that was unexplained. And I've let most of it go now, But Bigfoot, yeah, I think there could possibly be an undiscovered animal. And so John Portnoy, who directed Hunting Grounds, he also, I think, holds this opinion, and he wanted to treat Sasquatch seriously and not making, some Bigfoot movies, Bigfoot's from outer space or whatever.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make him as if this were an actual creature. Like, I had a scene in the movie where I'm supposed to be capturing Bigfoot's cave, and John was laying out the food and it's only going to be in one shot. I don't even know if it made it in the movie, but he was explaining to me why he decided Bigfoot would eat this and this and this, and why it would lay it out this way, and how it would put the food in its hands. And I think he really put a lot of thought into how Bigfoot might exist as a real animal. I respected that.
Well, and that's one of the takeaways that I had with it is I feel like this was actually one of the more genuine takes on the Sasquatch, where we got to see, like, because there's a lot of different Sasquatch TV shows and hunting Bigfoot and all that kind of stuff out. And so there's been all these, I don't know whether it's true or not, sort of opinions that have come out about things or certain ways, like you said, how Bigfoot would eat, or some folks believe that they knock in the woods to communicate, or they pelt people with rocks. And I felt like even more than like a normal sort of monster movie, this gave a really sort of almost human-esque sort of ancestral sort of background to Bigfoot that I actually really enjoyed.
Well, it reminded me, too, of indigenous people. In every country, there's indigenous people who were displaced by the successful race that founded the nation state that's there. You know, Mark Twain said that there's not 1 inch of the globe that's in possession of its original owner. And so the Sasquatch act as the indigenous people in this movie. And there are these invaders coming in, and, you know, like all invaders, they think they're the hot stuff, you know, but there were people who were here first. There were animals who were here first. I think it would be really humbling for us to discover that there are Bigfoot. Oh God, I hope we wouldn't kill them. Maybe we would. Maybe they should never maybe they shouldn't let themselves be known if they exist. Humans we really suck at coming into contact with other species, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We definitely shoot first, ask questions later, but I mean, you kind of can't ask a corpse a question, right?
Yeah. So in this movie, my character goes out into the woods, and I think he's looking for treasure, but he ends up stumbling across these Bigfoot.
You're playing Bowman, and you're walking through, and you end up coming across. And at first, and I mean, there could be spoilers, people. Everybody, just relax. Go see the film. But it's like in the first 5 minutes, you get jumped by some Bigfoot, and I was like, son of a bitch, he's already done. But there's way more to the story, and that, you know what, I thought they did a really good job too of immersing you in the story of the father and son, and kind of last year I did 3 or 4 movies where I'm the bookend. At the beginning, I come back at the end, and maybe a scene in the middle. I did a lot of those, and this was my favorite of those. I like this character because his name was Bauman, and Bauman is the name of a hunter who encountered a creature that we today would think of as a Bigfoot. He told the story to Teddy Roosevelt, and Teddy Roosevelt wrote about it in a book in 1898. So it's one of the very earliest Bigfoot stories of modern times. Well, that's
and the fact that Portnova named my character Bauman made me think, wow, this guy's really smart, and he's a geek. And geeks make really good directors. If somebody's very geeky and kind of like, especially if they're a little bit withdrawn and kind of odd, they're going to make a really good director.
Well, I find folks like that kind of get right into like the sort of devils in the details kind of deal where, like you said, he's pointing out how he feels the animal would eat the food. And most people would be like, just throw it down and nobody's going to give a shit. But no, it's those little nuances that he throws in that is going to make it bigger and better.
My buddy Jason Vale plays the father in this movie. He was in Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies with me, and he played the character who turned out to be John Wilkes Booth. I played Lincoln. So this is really fun to be in a movie with Jason. I think he's a tremendous actor. And I think Miles, who played his son, did a really, really nice job, too. I thought they both were good.
No, I totally agree. And that's what I mean. There was a lot more story and character development than I actually expected. I was very pleased with getting the background, getting a lot of the interactions between the father and the son. And it was really well done. I mean, there was a good, I think, half hour of just back and forth kind of dialogue. And that helped me to forget that I thought you were already gone. And then, so when you come back in, I'm like, oh shit, there he is.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. I'm glad, man. Good.
No, and it's
I hope people check out Hunting Grounds, and I hope they enjoy it. You know, like you say, don't put it on and be like, a minute's going by and I haven't seen anything. You know, it's a good flick to watch with your wife, your girlfriend. You know, I hear from a lot of female horror fans, much more so than guys. For some reason, I think they like the creepy, sensitive guy. But they tell me we love the blood, we love the gore as much as anybody. We're gore whores. Some of them call themselves gore whores.
Oh, nice.
But we also want a story, and we want characters we can care about. And I thought that Hunting Grounds did a good job of delivering both.
No, and I absolutely agree. And that's why I'm kind of smashing it home in here is I don't want folks to think it's just another sort of typical monster movie where the monster attacks the entire time. You're going to get a really good story, but you're still going to get a lot of the satisfaction of seeing the monster and the monster doing horrible things to Bill. And it's very enjoyable.
Thank you. I enjoy them also.
No, it's really well done, and I suggest it for sure. And I'm probably going to actually write a little review on it and put it on the site as well. Just because it's fantastic.
Thank you, man. And I shot up your way. I shot a short called Air a couple of years ago, and it came out. I think started coming out last year at film festivals, and it's done pretty well. We shot up in Toronto for that with Fatal Pictures. Do you know those guys? You know what? I just started talking with Zach Green, and actually I'm going to have him on the show later, I think next week. But yeah, I think he reached out through Twitter, and he sent me Air first, and it's only about 20 minutes long. I must have watched it 4 times and still said, "Oh, wow. What the hell did I just watch?" You know, I'm glad that you felt that way, that you questioned it, because I thought it had multiple layers of meaning. And for folks who haven't seen this, it's 20 minutes. Just watch it. Right? So I won't give anything away, but I thought it had multiple layers of meaning, but I read some reviews that were like, oh, this is exactly what this is about. But I'm glad to hear you say you were like, I'm not sure what it was about.
No, and that's just it. I after I watched it, I actually read a couple of different reviews just to get other people's opinion. And I felt the same way that you did. It hits home on some freaky levels and for different things. And the movie's a damn onion. There's so many layers to it. And go ahead.
In 20 minutes. I was just going to say in 20 minutes, so that it is possible without a huge budget and with imagination to do something that's really intriguing. I thought Richard Powell, the director of this, and Zach and the whole team, they treated the audience as if they had sense. They trusted the intelligence of the audience. And a lot of times huge blockbusters don't do that. I really respected them for it.
No, absolutely. And that's exactly why I had to watch it as many times as I did. I was ill prepared for how fast it was going to. I think even in the review I wrote, it just jams a pitchfork into your brain so fast. I had to watch it a couple of times. And honestly, if you haven't watched it, check it out. It's deep and dark, and then it even goes deeper and darker than you think it would.
My character in that has completely surrendered to what he is. And I think there's a purity to surrendering to what you are, even if you're an evil thing. I don't mean that it's good.
Right.
I just mean that it's honest. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, and I think I've seen you in a couple different things before, but when I saw this is where I was like, this dude has it. Like, you exactly how you said, you surrendered to it. I feel like you put yourself into the character as well, and just some of the way you looked at Robert's character, or you gave a little laugh. I'm like, it gave me chills, bro. I was like, that dude is sinister as shit.
Well, I figured this character that I was playing, he doesn't have any hesitations, and he's completely gone over to this place where he is, and he's not coming back, and he has complete disdain for anybody who's not there.
Exactly.
Bit, you know, it's a little chilling, but he's very comfortable with who he is. And what do you do with a person like that in society, if indeed he's not an actual monster, you know, if he's a metaphorical monster? What do you do with a person who has just gone so completely over it that they can't really exist in society without causing some harm? I don't know.
Exactly. And that's what I think what's so frightening is, I mean, take away the more supernatural aspect of it. There are probably some individuals that are totally okay with a lot of the stuff that they do on that seedy nature. And that is the kind of stuff that it makes you not want to sleep at night almost a little bit.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Most of the horror fans that I meet are really good-hearted people and decent people and intelligent people. And I think one of the reasons that they tend to be mentally healthy is because they acknowledge what you just said, that there's evil in the world. And there's always been evil in the world, and it exists. So we face evil and we face death when we watch these movies. And the people who are like, oh, I never watch horror. Some of them that I've talked to, they're afraid of death. Mm-hmm. They never want to talk about the white elephant in the room. And they don't ever want to acknowledge that there's such a thing as evil. But horror fans are comfortable with it.
I'm glad you brought that up, Bill, because I feel the same way. I feel like even folks that I've been a horror fan my whole life, and I just feel like there's something to be said about, and I mean, we get a lot of sort of that negative side of things where whatever horror makes people killers and whatever kind of crazy shit some people will spout. But at the end of the day, I think you're right. I think a lot of people that understand that there is good and evil, like it doesn't necessarily have to be like a wizard and a werewolf. There's real evil and there's real good people in the world, and it's just kind of a break to see it on screen and not have to deal with it day to day.
Absolutely. It's cathartic. And it reminds you of the stakes of life too. It reminds me of the importance of love. You know, which sounds weird, but killing people, a lot of people on screen, constantly reminds me to be kind and good and to show love and how important it is. A little bit of cruelty can do a lot of harm.
No, I definitely agree. I definitely feel the same way. It's the whole sort of yin and yang, right? You've got all the evil and you also have to have the good. And sometimes going through some of this or acting in the films that you do, I'm sure it does make a lot of sense that once you step away, once you get to your home life, that's where you can have the other side of things. And it sort of fulfills itself because you go through the things as an actor that you do.
Exactly right, and that's the benefit of this crazy business, is you experience every facet of humanity. It tends to make you a smart ass too, because you don't really you understand that everything's an illusion except love. There's not anything else, man. It's all illusion. People's pretense, the way we dress to try to impress other people, or we pretend to be this and pretend to be that. But we're all the same. We start to die the minute we live.
Right.
The minute we're born, and it's all bullshit. All of it, all the hierarchy. Oh, this is an important person. This is not an important person. And when you're an actor, you quickly realize, if you're self-aware at all, that everything's bullshit. We're all the same. And so you tend to be a smart ass because you don't really respect authority very much. You certainly don't respect hierarchy. And things like the red carpet are just a joke.
Yeah.
The whole idea of celebrity is a joke.
Stuff like that's interesting to me. Like like why the need to, and with celebrity, it's a lot of folks putting other people above themselves.
Yeah.
For no other reason.
Willingly doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. Willingly doing it. I
don't know, to be celebrated for what you do, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's great, whatever you do to be celebrated. But to be a celebrity because you're known, that seems to me like a dog eating its own vomit. Not very appetizing.
No, not at all, man. I've got actually The Chair. I've received a screener for that, so I'm looking forward to check that out soon.
Oh, good, man. I hadn't seen that one.
Yeah.
I'll be looking for your review to see how it is.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, I did have a note here. You were recently in the movie Death House.
Yeah. I was in Death House with everybody else in horror, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what I was going to. How was it like to be with all the other legends kind of in one sort of area?
It was really fun. Barbara Crampton has an amazing scream. Kane Hodder is great. I love Bill Moseley, and I got to be in a scene with Sean Whalen from The People Under the Stairs. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, that whole set was like, oh, that guy from so and so. Oh, the guy from so and so.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine.
It was a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a fun ride.
That's awesome. I'm trying to get my little mitts on that. I definitely want to see it. If not, I'll wait. I'll buy it as soon as I can. Because it's like I said, it's like the Expendables of horror. So it's gonna be something to watch for sure.
I was insane in it, as I have been in probably half the stuff I've done. I've been insane. You know, when you stare and you don't blink, people think you're insane.
Oh, it freaks people out.
It's weird. That's my whole acting technique for playing insane people. It's just don't blink and be quiet.
And that works. That is all you if you're staring and the camera's on you maybe 1 or 2 seconds longer than you feel like you should, that's when we get the willies.
Well, De Niro said, quote, I finally realized after all these years that the best thing to do on camera is nothing. The more you do, the worse it is. The less you do, the better. You just be on camera. That's all it is. You just be. But that sounds easy, but you got to be honest. You just have to be honest because the camera knows if you're lying. So, yeah, you just have to be in touch with exactly what you look like to other people. Not thinking, oh, I wish my nose wasn't so big, or I wish I didn't have acne scars. Know who you are. There's a power in that. Absolutely.
Own who you are. I think that's something to be said, even about yourself. Just, you know exactly yourself, or AKA your product. You know what to do and how to do it. And it seems to be going very well for you.
Well, you know, when Johnny Depp created Captain Jack Sparrow, there's that famous story of the people from Disney came on set the first day and they're like, what the hell? He's wearing eyeliner and he's mincing around and he sounds like Keith Richards. Wait, what is this? And there's this story, I don't know if it's true or not, that Johnny Depp said, you hired me to do a job and I know how to do this. Now you have to get out of the way and let me do what you hired me to do. And then after the first day of filming, they were like, yeah, this is great. He's going to be an iconic character.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
So I feel when I play a dark character, I've done so many now that when I arrive on set, sure, I want to hear what the director thinks and what everybody thinks. But I have a calm, quiet confidence in myself that I know how to do this. And often I will try something in a take that I just have an instinct that'll work. And the director may like it or may not like it. But that's part of my job is, you know, part of an actor's job is to bring something that the director didn't expect.
Now, when you're playing a dark character, as many of the ones you do you find like there is, I don't know, a place inside yourself that you go to kind of channel that?
Yeah, and not a comfortable place at all.
Yeah.
I am, by faith, I'm a follower of Jesus, and it's the most important thing in the world to me. And so I literally ask permission. I'll just say, God, will you give me permission to go to this dark place? I go through that mental exercise so I can just abandon to it. Because if you're not abandoned to it, you know, if you're tweeting or checking Facebook or like, oh, now I got to pretend to be creepy, it's going to suck.
Right.
You've got to completely just go over to it. The first time I did it was a movie called Children of Sorrow. Like in 2011, I think we shot that. And the character was just so dark. He was a cult leader that I just said, you know, screw it. I'm going offline. I'm going off the grid. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm going to spend my time away from the other actors on set, and I'm going to live in this character. And it turned out to be intense. People liked the performance, and so I've done it ever since.
Amazing.
When I'm on set, I'm not there to socialize. I'm there to go to a place they've hired me to go, so I go there.
Wow. That's pretty amazing, man. And it's awesome that you have that ability to go over there and do what you got to do. Cause I mean, that's what you're hired for, but I mean, you kill it. You do a fantastic job. And, I don't know, man. I enjoy what you do. And I can't wait to see the giant couple handfuls of films that we're waiting on here.
Well, you know how indie films go. It's hit and miss, but, yeah, I'll keep working on them, and I'm really thankful that you had me on. Your listeners want to get in touch. I'm on Twitter and Facebook as Bill Oberest Jr. They can find me through my website and through IMBD. But say hello. One of the things I love about the horror community is it's pretty small and it's worldwide at the same time. So I might hear from somebody in India who has a great idea for a film, and somebody in Romania the same day, and I really love that. So I like interacting with fans, and I encourage people to say hello.
Absolutely, and I can totally vouch for that. I think when I wrote the review for Air, I think you retweeted or you said thank you or something like that, and I totally fangirled over it. I went to the opposite dark place where I just started screaming like a little girl, and
oh, dude, of course. If somebody's going to take the trouble, I know actors who are like, they told me don't do that because I do it for any reviewer I can find. And they're like, don't do that because that makes you look small. You need to look big like you don't read reviews. I'm like, what? Somebody's taken the trouble to write about something I'm in and I can't say thank you? How rude and asshole could I be?
Yeah. No, that's not cool. But I get it. I get the industry and a lot of it's perception, right? And a lot of folks kind of want to, I feel like there's two sides. There's the side where they want to pretend they're bigger than they are. And then there's the side like yourself that's willing to put yourself out there. And all that does is for people like me want to continue to support people like you.
Oh, hell, I follow everybody back on Twitter. And I've had people tell me, don't do that because if you're important, you're supposed to have lots of followers and not follow many. I'm like, to hell with that. If somebody follows me, I'm going to follow them back.
Hell yeah, man. Well, Bill, I really appreciate it.
I'm not a very good celebrity.
Oh, well, I guess you'll have to just live with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you. I really enjoyed it.
No problem. Keep being amazing. I'll let you know when this drops and I'll tag you in it and all that good stuff. But this was a fantastic chat, man.
Thank you, man. I enjoyed it. Plus, you have a good night.
Yeah, you as well. Have a good night, brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Damn, Bill Oberest Jr. What a cool guy. It's funny. I've done so many of these interviews with different people, and they're. I know this sounds so weird, but I was talking with Champ earlier. For those of you that listen to FEARCast, and I was just telling him we've done so many interviews, we've had so many really awesome people on, and it never. I get the butterflies every time, and I had actually talked to Bill a little earlier in regards to what time we were doing this sort of stuff, and it still didn't really help. I was still nervous. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I get the way I do, but it's this nervous energy that I think it helps. At the end of the day, it helps because I genuinely like to talk to people. And if anybody knows me in person, I will be very quiet at first. And then once you know me, I am loud as shit. I just try to have as much fun as possible. And this whole podcast thing has been amazing to be able to talk to some of these folks. Like Bill was such a chill guy, and like he says, his job is to be a dark, sinister person who kills people. And you talk to him and he is just down to earth. Such a cool dude. I can't wait to see what else he does. Like I said, the guy's got so much on the go. I'm so glad that he took the time to talk to me. And I feel like a lot of people can learn from actors like him or even some of the other folks that we've talked to who understand how indie film works, where you're going to have to put yourself out there and you're going to have to be able to reach out to different people. And I'm glad that I have this platform, which is still relatively new in so many ways, but as a new sort of way to market and push things that I love, whether it's horror movies or metal music or combat sports when I talk to Champ or Jay or any of those guys. But honestly, I do very much appreciate anybody that takes the time to be on the show. And for anybody that wants to be on the show, just reach out. All the links will be in the post for this. Or if you're listening on Patreon, I'm sure you know how to get a hold of me very well. So in the meantime, I had a lot of fun. I thank once again Bill Oberest Jr. for coming on the show. Look forward to seeing it. If you can, man, go out, see Air, see Hunting Grounds, The Chair, Death House, all that stuff, because you got to support indie film. That's the only way that it can kind of stay alive and keep growing. And I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I do. So in the meantime, until next week, run along, kiddies.
Hey guys, it's Fear from FYFC Studios. I really hope you're enjoying Talk Life, FEARCast, or A&Way. Plus, there's always lots of entertainment over on our website. Because I'm a cannabis advocate and often forget things, I wanted to make a little bumper to get you fine folks to head over to nftfyb.com. No fucking time for your bullshit. That's how we do. Again, that's www.nftfyb.com. Feel free to reach out on any social media. We're always looking for cool people to talk to, get somebody else's opinion on something, crazy stories you see in the news that you'd love to see us react to. Look, we'll probably never be consistent, but we'll always be entertaining. Thank you for listening one last time. nftfyb.com.